pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first up, updated job description.
Good evening. You guys got a copy of it? Was that?
Yes.
Okay. So what I did was I took the suggestions after talking to Rich St. Hilaire about things he thought maybe should be incorporated into my job. I looked at the old job description that Susan sent me, and I also looked at some local job descriptions of other rec directors in the area to look for ideas and stuff. So I combined all that stuff into there. It came out a little lengthy, to be honest, but
No kidding.
yeah.
You're gonna be a busy guy.
Well, I added some stuff at the end, like Phil, you had asked about which parts were revenue neutral or in the revolving fund and which were budget things, so I put that in there too. So there's a lot of information in there. I don't know if you guys have any questions or feel.
I see that you had, an average of about 20 hours a week. I mean, some weeks you might only have 10 and other you might have 30.
Right, and I've been starting to log what I do every day,
Okay.
so you get a better feel for that. So yeah, I'd say 15 to 20 is probably.
Okay.
With the exception of the 8-week summer camp of 40 hours.
That's different, yeah, that's a whole separate equation, yeah.
So,
Is that me?
how did it go with, I guess I'll try and word this properly. The senior luncheon,
Yes,
what is the role gonna be in your eyes
for me.
for you? Because I know that's, just for the benefit of people at home, that's an independent event right now, but
It's
the
a
town
pretty-
does support it financially?
Yep, and the seniors pay, I haven't gone in a while because it's always in the middle of the workday, but I think they pay a couple dollars and then I think I talked to Cindy this morning about it, I think they bring in receipts for food and supplies and things that they need. I mean, it's a pretty well-run machine. I wouldn't try to get them involved in that unless they wanted help. I think it runs pretty well. So it's, it's the 9 or 10 months, not during the summer. And I think they have a beautiful place at the church there, and it seems to run very well. So, I mean, I would go visit. I'm barely a senior, so I could sneak in there. And I was supported if they wanted to. I mean, similar to Roger Clark does the senior trips, and he does a great job of that. I'd like to go along with him and learn what he knows and things. But if it's not broke, don't fix it, kind of thing. So.
But you would be overall responsible if there were shortcomings or
Yep.
just past experience has shown things will be going great and then there's a volunteer drop off and
Right.
someone needs to step in to kind of.
Right. There's a shift sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. No, I would. Yeah, I would definitely say that I would be the go-to person. To ask for help, to find resources, things like that. But I wouldn't interfere in a process that's currently going well. Like you said, that could change with some volunteers needing to stop or whatever. So, yeah.
The only other thing I had was your numbering, lettering, and
That's Google Docs. That's not me.
FGH3.
Yeah. I thought I had fixed that, but I guess I hadn't. So. I'm not a teacher anymore, so I don't have to worry about that stuff.
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm very happy with this. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
We're
And
meeting
I
up
think you do a
here.
great job for our program. Thank you for all that you do for us, because you
Oh, sure.
really provide a great service to the
Yeah,
community.
thank you. Yeah, the movie's got a full load tonight, and we got
Great.
football on Thursday that's full, so we're heading in the right direction. So,
Excellent.
So do you think you'd be doing another movie or?
yeah, I think the high school actually. When we talked to the high school, and they sounded like they were interested in helping us as well. They said that was Matt Angel. He said that was something that they were thinking about doing, and asked about concessions, and we're just making it simple tonight, but I think if we do it into the fall, we can do it a little bit earlier. So like 8:30 is kind of late for some of the younger kids, but yeah, if we can get the support from the local businesses and people that have donated, or find a funding source, or it's great to make it free, honestly. But if I know Exeter charges $15 a car, which is family of 4. That's not bad. But it'd be nice if we can do it for free. But yeah, it's got a great night for it. This guy does it pretty much rain or shine, which is nice too. So you can it's going to happen. So
Plus the bathrooms.
bathrooms are there. We could do a concessions there if we could use their facility. There's a person doing the janitorial services for us to make sure everything is cleaned up and in order and things like that. Turning the lights out. So hopefully it'll go well. So,
Providing with a law enforcement officer tonight to help them out.
what's that?
I said I'm providing you with a law enforcement officer.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Yep.
So I guess path forward on this. Send it to Cindy to,
The description,
yeah.
if you're all happy with it, yeah.
What you go
Yeah,
to
I
see?
thought it was good. So we need to adopt it, do we need to move?
Well, I think she probably needs to look at it to make sure that it meshes with other job descriptions,
Okay.
cuts out anything extraneous, and then we can,
Then it should come back to us.
yeah, and then we can vote to accept it. And then,
Then it's gonna go to the budget committee.
See, yeah, I have a question. I don't know if this is the right place for it, but right now I get an $8,000 stipend that it isn't really associated, I don't think, at least it hasn't been with an hourly. It's just sort of, some weeks I do a lot, some weeks I don't do much at all. So would this new stuff be on top of that? Would we have a restructuring of how I do?
oh, you want more money?
That's how it works. You do more work, you get more money. That's
You'd be a bad farmer.
except for
I'm
farmers.
actually meeting with Paul tomorrow, and I thought that was kind of part of what we were gonna go through is what we're gonna restructure, what needs to be done, what he's taking over for duties.
Right.
Okay.
It's an expansion of current duties, so that needs to be included in the budget for 2021.
Right.
That was my, yeah.
Yes.
But if we can talk tomorrow, that would be perfect.
That was perfect.
And have Rich bring it back to the board.
Yeah, I think, Rich, if you want to look at comparable positions in other towns, then that'd be great.
Most are 6 figures or above, just to.
Nice try.
Full-time, of course, would be more.
And the only thing to remember is I will not be at our next meeting,
Okay.
so it'll be,
Will you be zooming in?
no,
No. Okay, just ask.
there's no internet,
Where are you going?
Montana.
Oh, nice.
I'm in the middle of nowhere.
And you don't want to be on the internet out there. You want to have it
The
controlled.
town has 300 people.
Oh, my God. I
Wow,
love
that
that.
sounds great.
All right, well, I guess you'll meet with Rich tomorrow.
Yep.
And we'll get this over to Cindy once you guys meet and take it from there.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, great. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Next up, we have Library Director Rebecca Matek.
You look like you planned that.
Hello. I have Sharon Bailey. She's one of your,
My trustees, yep. Our trustees.
Kevin's here too, by the way.
I don't know if this will help with you. Thank you for having me come tonight. Appreciate it. I think there are a couple of things in your packet that I wanted to be here to discuss. And one of them was, I can take this off.
Please.
One of them was just to give you the status on where the library is at, the trustees are at with opening the library. They did have a meeting on August 10th. And during that meeting, the day before, which is outlined in the letter, I outlined the situation on the COVID with the staff over at the library. I knew on Sunday that one of my staff was exposed to a family member that had COVID, and that person turned out to be positive, and I found out at the meeting on Monday the 10th. So I talked to Peter on Tuesday about it, and he agreed with, we had 3 people quarantined, 3 staff members. So it was going to be almost impossible for us to open. I was on Tuesday the 11th, but with that situation, I was down 3 people, and I'm still down 2 people. So what the trustees decided to do is reconvene on the 24th, which was 2 weeks from the 10th. So we're going to look at the staffing, look at the situation, and see if we can open. So that's where that stands. Do you have any questions?
No, I'm assuming you can just open for fewer hours instead of trying to go regular boat, and that might be more helpful anyways.
Yeah, it's an option, right?
Instead of staying closed still,
Yes.
might be nice to be open half the time.
Okay, that's an idea.
If you can.
Yep. I'm doing everything I can to make it happen, and we really thought we were ready to go, but this situation just threw.
Yeah.
It was very unfortunate, and we just want to reevaluate on the 24th, so I'm hoping.
Okay.
Okay. So the other issue is the memo we wrote from the trustees about the total compensation survey and those increases that were discussed in the budget committee meetings last year. That we had sent you a memo about the pay for performance, and that was fine with you, but we wanted to just check in with you about being able to give these other increases to the staff. And it was because of this Town of Hampstead total compensation survey. And we had the money in the budget was approved, and we just wanted to make sure with the board of selectmen that the trustees could go ahead with those increases, given the budget situation.
Right.
Yeah, actually, those weren't actually put on pause.
Okay,
So, it was just the pay for performance was actually put on pause as we saw what was going on. So, any issue with that?
No.
okay, well, thank you. They just wanted to check in with you, wrote you the memo, and make sure that that was all okay with you before we went ahead. So
Good to go.
I think that's it, unless you have any other questions.
Not yet.
Did she have anything?
No.
Okay, thank you. Nothing from Sharon?
No, and Walt Roy, is he your trustees also? Walt Roy?
No.
Okay, he's also here.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
I'll keep you updated.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, next up we have Shaw Tilton, Conservation Commission appointee. How you doing?
Good. Hi, so I'm Shaw. So I guess the introduction to you, except for Chief Briggs, who I get to sit with a couple times. Yeah, so I'm not sure the format of this, if you wanted me to speak to myself or...
Well, typically, but we also like to just meet the new volunteers as well. So, yeah, why don't you tell us why you want to be on the Conservation Commission?
Sure. So first, in my letter I said I'm new to town, so I moved here last February, 2019.
Before COVID.
Well, no, a year ago, a year and a half ago. So yeah, thankfully, I want to participate in my local government. That's important to me to be a participant, and not just in terms of voting, but and the environment is very important to me. And being a good steward of the town, our resources. And, you know, I'm very happy to live here. We have a beautiful town and want to participate in, you know, making that more enjoyable or accessible to all of us. So, you know, and I believe in service within the community. So, again, I'm new to the town, but I have served in the National Guard here in New Hampshire for 6 years. Yeah, so I have my own business. I'm a psychotherapist in private practice, and yeah, so that's sort of the short of it. So I'm a
Must be busy these days.
well, actually, very much so. Yeah, it's surprising. It has not decreased; it's increased during this time. So a lot of stress on families right now. So it's really challenging for everyone.
We need to get him out of here before he starts on us.
Just
Right.
lifetime security. Huh?
Yeah, sure.
Did anybody on the board have questions for Sean?
No, welcome to Kingston. Thank you for stepping.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do need a motion to,
So moved.
I'll move that we appoint Shaw Tilton to the Conservation Commission.
Second.
okay, motion and second. Roll call vote?
Alessio,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Coombs,
Yes.
St. James,
Yes.
and Wilson.
Yes.
All in favor.
So what we'll do, actually, she's closed now, isn't she? She closed at 7.
Tammy? Yeah. You
So, at your leisure, you can come see Susan, and you'll have your appointment form, and then you just have to go to the town clerk tax collector, Tammy. She'll swear you in,
Okay.
and you will be official.
Okay.
Actually, I'll leave it right at the town clerk's office. I'll bring it
Okay.
to them.
Okay. So I can stop in anytime. Great.
Yeah, Tammy's on vacation this week. I don't know if the other kids are, but Holly can do it, I believe.
Yeah, Holly can do it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anytime they're open.
Okay. Great. Well, thank you. Been nice to meet all of you.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
And next up, we have Derek Hines, VFW Commander.
He's actually not here yet,
Okay.
but we're here to support him. And so the proposal is to have a food truck at the VFW.
Okay. So we can either wait for him, if you want to do that, or if you want to speak to it, you just got to come up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Okay, he said he's going to be here at 7:15.
Okay.
So it's a little past that.
We can do a few other things.
You might as well wait for him.
Okay.
Is that okay with the board?
Good for me.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So we're just gonna do some old business and we'll come back to you guys.
Thank
Unless there's public comment. You're the only public we have, so.
you. We support everything.
All right.
This is our first meeting.
That's pretty good. Do we have anyone on Zoom, Susan, for comment?
Does anyone have anything for public comment that's on Zoom? No? You can send a chat if so. Okay. Looks like that.
All right, so old business, we have the paving bids. There was a question on some of the content missing in one of the bids.
Yeah.
We've received an updated one.
As I spoke with Rich earlier today, he's available by phone if we need to touch base with him. We have the same three proposals with more description from Pike Industries. And I asked him what his recommendation was, and he said he still was supportive of going with Pike. They given the roads in question that would be done, they did offer what we needed to have done at a better price. So he would recommend that we go with Pike Industries.
Okay. I will recuse myself from this vote.
So I have a question then. So the last bid was $349,250. The new bid is $358,138.35. So,
He still recommends Pike Industries. It's only a few thousand more than Brock's. He said, but Brock's also.
but like we spoke about last time, the purpose of putting it out to bid is to to look
So
at.
this is a different number than,
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's a little bit higher, but it's more inclusive of everything that needed to be done.
it's $8,000 more.
But he didn't have everything the last time, which is why we sent it back. And so he enumerated everything that needed to be done. Remember, we talked about he didn't, in that original bid, he didn't have everything in there. You want to talk to Rich, let's do that. I don't want to postpone this.
Well, so my question would be, did we send it back to see if the other two bidders had everything in theirs?
I asked Rich, is everything on an equal playing field? He said yes. Now, did I get into the weeds with him? No, I did not.
So the other two have bid the same amount, right?
They're all within $3,000 of one another.
So I guess.
Is there something you're worried about, Chief, that I don't understand?
Yeah, so my understanding, and I agreed with Kevin last time, the purpose of putting it out to bid, if they're all bidding the same thing, then why would we want to take the 358, 138 over the 355 or the 355? Why would we
We
not?
also talked about,
so
So Brock's
they
is,
didn't have the grinding in there, I believe, and he had a breakdown for us last time.
but that's what I'm saying, we don't know we don't know if we're looking at apples or
Brock's
oranges.
was second choice. I'm just telling you, the price, given what we go through with some other things that we bid out on, names shall be named unnamed. The lowest price is not necessarily the best one. That's all I'm gonna say to that.
You're talking about 2%. You're not talking about much money either.
But
And-
again, what,
He thought Pike would do the best job, given the roads in question. He thought they would do the best job for those, at these prices. I don't know, I'm gonna support whatever Rich recommends, and he recommends Pike. So if you wanna talk with him, then you need to give him a call. You should call him right now. Because I don't think it's in our best interest to postpone again and have prices go up and delay the project. You want to give him a call? Go ahead, Rich.
No, I don't want to go on. Go on. I thought he was...
but again, we put it out to bid, right?
I understand that, Dawn. We put a lot of things out to bid, but the lowest price isn't always what, we don't always get what we bid out on. We have, and as we have a prime example going on with something else right now, so. And it's not like there's a big differential. We thought that there was more of a differential 2 weeks ago when all the details were
So
not.
we're discussing the bids and the revised bid for Pike. Can I put you on speaker? All right. All right, Rich. So the question is, last week or 2 weeks ago, Pike had a bid of $349,250.
Yep,
And they were the low bidder, and then this revised bid with more information
yep.
has them at $358,138.
So that is because I used a constant in the number of tons of pavement of 5,000 for all three of them. So they all three use this of tons of mix. So if you take that price per ton that they gave you of, I think it was, I don't have it in front of me, I think it was like
67.80.
50 or something like that.
67.85.
67.85 and multiply that times 5,000.
Okay,
And
so
then you add in the 10, I think it was $10,000 they bid on the grinding of the road, should come up to the number that I gave you last 2 weeks ago.
okay, so this one has 131.
So what's the difference between Brock's and Pike?
Pike's, they got to tie in all the driveways, that kind of stuff. And if you look at Brock's bid, they specifically.
Okay.
If you look, drag yourself all the way through Brock's gobbledygook, there's a lot of stuff they say they're not gonna do.
Okay.
And so that's all gonna be extra.
Okay.
On top of the number that I gave you in the 3-bid analysis that I did 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And you know, is it gonna be every driveway that they're not gonna do? No, but any of the ones that are, you know, more than just a couple feet that they gotta do extra work on, they gotta bring a crew in afterwards at a much higher price. That's the way I read it.
Okay. So you're in favor of pipe?
They're a little bit, they're qualified. All 3 of them are good bids. They're all good work, you know. I don't have a negative thing to say about any one of the 3. Last year, because of the roads, I recommended someone else just because they were smaller roads, and I thought the small company would do a better job for us. This year, most of the roads we're doing are bigger roads. Little River Road, it's Riverwood, which they're all big subdivisions, and there's no little tiny camp roads or anything like that in there. If you guys free up money later on in the year, we might do some smaller roads or whatever, but right now, for what I've got there, yeah, I would say for I think it's $12,000 from top to bottom. I mean, I can't recommend spending an extra $12,000. I don't think you'll get a $12,000 better job. You know, by spending the extra money.
Yep.
This is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I'll make a motion that we award the bid to Pike Industry.
Second.
Thanks, Rich.
All right, have a good evening. Call me if you need me.
All right, bye.
Do a roll call?
Roll call. Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
I
Oh,
already
you recused yourself.
facilitated.
St. James?
Because you're in the street?
Yes.
No.
And Wilson?
Was that yes, Kevin?
Yes, yes. So we've got 4 areas.
Okay. You'll let Rich know?
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Next item is the bridge built on the Conservation Trail follow-up.
So I've done some homework on that, and we're still trying to make contact with the property owner. Tammy had it listed separately, so now we know that they bought Ed Calloway's property. And after the Conservation Commission meeting we last had, they were going out and double-check the property lines to make sure, because part of this is they want to make sure that there's no conflict on where the town line is to where the property line is. So that's what I've got right here to go out and actually pay them a visit, because we didn't have a number for them.
This is on the bridge and that conservation land?
Yes, yeah, it's Ed Calloway's property. Behind Ed's, and it comes in off that same loop where it crosses over by Camp Lincoln, way up around. The gentleman I was working with on the range there.
Yeah.
And this ties into that same parcel.
Okay.
So we'll follow up next meeting?
Yep.
All right.
The Vine site plan.
You want to go to them since he's here now?
I just soon finish up old business.
Basically, like we've talked about before, there's several things wrong there. They need to do an amended or go back to the planning board with what they're going to do to solve their issues. I mean, they have a letter from civil engineering. They have several things. One house where it's not supposed to be at all.
Is this Vines or Diamond Oaks?
Fines. That's what it says.
So he has his lay down yard, or his his site at the top of Diamond Oaks.
Wait a minute,
But
I've got them confused.
are you talking about Dennis Quintel's letter?
Yeah, that's the front building,
That's
right?
Vines, Beans, or whatever it is.
Vines, yeah, Mark Vines. That's the big building up.
Right,
Yep.
right.
This was the one, there was a cliff.
Right.
And they were, Dennis's main concern was that there was,
We spoke about it last time. When I went down and issued him the 911 number, there's a conflict where there is a fence along the top of the ridge
Right.
to prevent someone from falling off or whatever.
Robert and I talked about that, and I told him I didn't think exterior fences like that are an issue.
It looked safe to me. When I went there, he had me look at it. That if anybody get out on top there, they're not gonna be able to fall off because there's a fence all the way around there. I do understand what they're talking about. It's a straight ledge up and down, but
And Quintel is saying that that fence is probably a good safety feature as it is right now, so he didn't see that as being a problem.
what was the problem with the ledge then?
I think what we discussed was just gonna have to go, just make sure the planning board was okay with it, because everything in their bond was enough to cover this.
I can tell you, he did a good job on that fence because I checked it out because he asked me to look at it.
Yeah, the last sentence from Dennis is that it should be noted that the fence at the top of the excavation must be perpetually maintained for safety reasons.
Sure.
So whether that needs to be on the site plan, I don't know how that works, but that was the concern, to make sure that they maintain it in a reasonable fashion so that it keeps it safe.
They could-
People falling over into that
Couldn't they put a footnote on the
site plan, is that how that would work? Could we, I mean, if we sent them a letter, could we include that? If you wanted to respond to Dennis's comments?
I can do that tomorrow night.
That'd be great, because the next one was the,
I don't think we really need to take any action on this. This all seems like it's all planning board
Yeah,
stuff.
until tomorrow night's done.
yeah, because the manhole cover, we don't have anything to do with that either, right? That would be planning board.
I think they're fixed now.
I don't even understand why that's here.
All right.
Right there with you.
If you could check on that tomorrow night, Rich, that'd be great. How's that sound? Those
All
last
right.
3 items there.
And last item of old business, unless there's anything more on that?
No.
Okay. The solar waterless boat cleaning system will be at the parking area across from the boat launch from August 27th through September 3rd, courtesy of the Lake Association. Everybody is encouraged to go clean their kayak and boat with the solar waterless boat cleaning system. We're going to jump back in the agenda here, assuming this is Mr. Hines. We've got you for information on a proposed hot dog cart at the VFW.
Yes.
You wanted to come up?
I'd love to speak to the board. These are just to, they should probably show me, because they're the owners of said. It's not a And what they want to do is they want to basically operate it on the VFW and the VFW parking lot. So I've talked to my board is fine with it. We've obviously laid down our requirements of 1 million liability to protect us. COVID adherence is mandatory, state inspections and licensing. As far as state health department goes, they'll have all the permits and everything that they need before it's even considered. The only thing that they will do with our building is that they will use our kitchen for prep. And we are in the process now of helping them get that ready we were closed for 6 months. So obviously the kitchen needs a good redo to bring it to code as well, so that's our intent. Now, I've gone through all of the guidance as far as, Kingston regulations. We're private property. I don't see anything where it says that I require a permit. All I wanted to do is what we want to do is we just want to make you aware that this is what we're doing. And I prefer to, ask permission and forgiveness. So if there is something that is required by the town, I would appreciate being just ahead of it. I have spoke with the food inspector,
Health inspector.
and he said, well, I have to come out and look at it, and as best I can tell, he has every right to inspect it after they're open and operating.
Is that our health officer or food inspector from Concord?
The Kingston,
Peter Broderick,
yeah.
big guy, big voice.
I don't know, I talked to him over the phone. And I told him, I said, well, yeah, that's your job, I don't have an issue with that. Of course you're supposed to inspect that kind of stuff. So we're not trying to, be on the down low. It's just basically to make everybody aware that it's gonna be there.
Are you operating on the top lot or down back?
It's gonna be on the top lot, so it has street coverage, but it will be on the back of the top lot. So it won't be right on the street, it'll be off. We're gonna ensure that their parking is gonna be down behind, and their intent is to put up picnic tables for people to eat outside. And those will all be 6 foot, 6 capacity, 6 foot spacing. The other thing that I'm insisting on is that they have a handicap, a male and a female porta potty out there. And they are emptied at least minimum every 2 days. Regardless of use, they will be empty and sanitized every 2 days.
So, question for the board, so if they're coming in under our 404, that's something we have to issue to them.
Well, I'm looking at Rich because I came off the planning board when you came on. So right up the street where Bayberry Variety used to be, right at the corner of Hunt Road and 125, there was someone who wanted to set a food truck up there, and you could probably speak to how that went.
No, well, that one didn't go well.
There used to be one at the parking lot at the Sonic Temple.
But again, I think that's what's different here is because you guys are already approved for food and
Through the state? You
They're
have,
going to before they open. We wanted to, they went through because they have to actually use my kitchen as their commercial kitchen address. So I want to make sure that we don't have an issue with the address before they pursue.
so what,
So it doesn't fall under 404 then?
yeah, it doesn't,
I think at a minimum, it could go forward because the governor's order pushing for outside food service.
because he has food service in the building,
I do, I have a food license as well.
The issue is
but
this.
it's not the same owner.
There was another restaurant down the street that put up a hot dog cart. And it had so many complaints and everything, and the planning board said that because it was a permanent thing, it had to come in for a site plan review. Now, whether this falls into the same thing, I don't know.
Because it's a change of use or expansion?
Change in use of the property. It's putting another,
But this is at the VFW, right?
Yes,
Across the street from Saddle Up, right?
yes.
You're not gonna have music, right?
No.
You're gonna have parking problems?
Now, have you seen my parking lot?
I know your parking lot.
My parking lot's monstrous.
Did this get run by the planning board or no?
Well, I guess my initial feeling would be that they can at least start based on,
I think you're right. I think under the governor's orders, they could do this.
because it would be, what we're talking about with the governor's orders, the governor has basically allowed establishments that typically don't serve food outside or don't have permission to serve food outside. Because of COVID and concerns about that, they've been allowed to serve food outside, and so it would be allowed under that, because you are a food establishment, you have a commercial kitchen, all the groundwork is there. I would think, though, that probably isn't gonna be the end of it, because when that order does expire, there's probably gonna be some questions that come from that. I think our town probably needs to move into this century regarding food trucks. It's kind of a, seems
It's
to be
hot,
how.
it's a hot item.
Yeah, you're seeing them everywhere, and I think we're gonna have to start addressing it. I do think this is a unique case because there's an existing establishment with
Which
I mean,
doesn't
it
cover-
technically doesn't fall under change of use because it's an addition to the use. It doesn't change the initial use of the property.
Well, but it's another activity outside of the structure. That's the issue, which I don't think is an issue, but somebody else might.
But under 404, if you issue a permit under 404, he has a right to hawk and peddle, or they do, their goods from place to place. So that's like if they're selling flowers, you want to start by selling them over here, or over here, or over here. They could get a permit under 404 and move and peddle their goods or wares according to the statute.
In which case, take that a step further, you start out at the VFW, sorry, not the Fence Club, I'm going to stay corrected on that. But
Right.
they could be on the plains for Kingston Days, they could be,
So they need permission from the landowner, so which would be
Correct.
us, or...
Yeah, I mean, I understand that if they do choose to do
Other locations.
organizational things outside of my property, then they have to obviously go through the requisite permitting and what have you to do that. And that's going to apply to if they want to go up to, if they want to go up to the beach, if they want to go anywhere else, they have to meet with those. I mean, I looked through some of the planning board stuff, and I didn't see all through the regs, and I didn't see anything that applied to a change of use because it's not altering the use of the primary structure and the land as a whole, which it isn't. It's simply a truck parked on parking.
it could be an expansion in use, not necessarily as changing.
Yes.
That, it's more, it makes more sense as an expansion, because
I
you're
just
still
know-
providing food, what they do already.
I don't have an issue with it. Don't
I
get
don't
me
either,
wrong.
I have no objection to it
At all. I mean, I think food trucks are marvelous.
You go to some towns, that's all they have is food trucks, and the food is awesome.
I know somebody getting ready to have a wedding that's probably going to use food trucks.
There you
But down the street, there was a major issue. And went to planning board and
But what was the issue, if I can ask?
they put a hot dog cart up. And people complained and said it was an expansion of use. A little different situation, a little different place. But,
Yeah, but there was
ended up getting turned down and they had to remove it.
Can I propose this to the board without, and so obviously we want to hear what you guys had to say, and the general feeling I'm getting is we can kind of give temporary permission upon further research. Does that work?
Yeah.
Because I think you and I are seeing eye to eye on this.
Yeah,
We have a meeting tomorrow night that I can bring it up and see if they want any action or no action, and then go from there.
and certainly under COVID, you have every right to pursue it anyways, I think.
Yeah, and I think under the governor's order, this would be fully
Right.
legal and right, as it's an extension of the VFW's approved purpose already, so.
Yeah,
And
and
if this works out well, you're gonna wanna do that more regularly.
Yeah, I guess we just have to kind of temper it, that this isn't like, we're not letting you go, this isn't full green, this is a caution, just go ahead and we'll follow up with further research and let you guys know what we find out.
Mr. Wilson's the liaison to the planning board on behalf of the board of selectmen.
oh no, I understand.
Okay.
I mean, and if there were viable complaints, I would address them.
Well, you're in a different area, like I said, you're in a commercial area where this was not the other one. And that was part of the complaint, so, and I think putting the truck in the backside, you're gonna get rid of any of the traffic issues that, my first thought when I heard.
Well, the truck will be on the back, but all of our parking will be out back, so
Yeah.
it'll be, I don't intend to have, they're gonna have to walk up. We have a set of stairs right there. They can come out of the back parking lot, walk up, get their food, go back down to the tables down there. And I have the parking lot to accommodate hundreds, so obviously,
Familiar with the site.
well, you know what I mean. Yeah. But no, I mean, we're going to ensure that even with COVID, that we have 6-foot spacing on parking and what have you, just to make sure that everything is compliant, and once they have all their paperwork in order, be more than happy to present it, come back and, so that,
Will this be mirroring your hours of operation?
not at all.
What are the hours gonna be?
It's gonna be from 12 o'clock to about 8 o'clock at night,
On weekends to start.
Okay.
and then we go to go Wednesday through Sunday.
How's the entrance and exit lit?
How's my entrance lit? On the front, I have a large floodlight on the telephone pole to the right of my building that illuminates my entire parking lot. I have 2 motion activated on the left side end of my building that illuminate the stairs, and in the back, I have 2 large floodlights that illuminate the entire back parking lot.
About right at street level, so cars coming in and out?
Yep, I have that huge, it's one of the commercial electric company spotlights. So, and there's no, I mean, if I do notice a gray area, I'm more than happy to put a light in, just to ensure. Trust me, I don't want anybody falling down my stairs or walking off my wall.
I'm thinking traffic crashes.
Yeah, no, and I will actually, if we need to, we'll actually put enter signs and everything else. We are in the process of redoing our parking lot as well,
We had a problem.
which will help tremendously.
Careful what you wish for.
Why don't you make sure Susan's got all the information to contact you, and after tomorrow night, probably won't be Wednesday, I'll talk to you, it'll be Thursday, because I've got an appointment Wednesday, so.
That's fine.
You just want his phone number? I believe in that.
Yeah, you have my info. So, I mean, just,
This is one of those ones where the select board makes a decision, then everybody comes out of the work and tells us everything we ignored or did wrong, so.
just because, believe me, I grew up in a small town, I live in Plastow, I know how it is.
Same thing.
I'm very familiar with it, so I don't have a problem with it, which is the reason that, if there's something that says I need to do, then just tell me what it is.
No, like we said, because you're already an established, entity that can serve food, it would be under the governor's order now. That will run out eventually though, so we just want to get you the right answer for the long term before you guys get off and run. So,
No, I appreciate it.
and Rich will be in contact with you and go from
Awesome.
there.
I appreciate it. I think what is your timeline right now?
To get everything done.
Yeah.
We should have everything done in about a month. We should have all our paperwork since set.
Licensing.
What type of food truck is it?
It's gonna be we're gonna do all homegrown food, like farm to table.
Local, fresh
Yeah.
is our theme. So we're gonna do like burgers and chicken and throw some other things in there too.
Cool.
And I did put together the start to a proposal of just what our basic ideas are, so I can email that to Susan if you guys would like.
I mean, I think the big drive is going to be the 125 lunch crowd. I mean, hopefully it'll be over in the evenings and.
I don't know, the truck on 108 in Newton,
Flacco?
crowded all the time.
Crazy,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I hope they have that success.
He's already built a reputation and people drive for quite a while to get there.
Yeah. So, no, I'm confident in it, and trust me, the VFW is taking all steps to ensure that we're protected and be compliant.
Great, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Thank you for your time.
Yep.
Susan, you're my info, so if you need anything, give me a call.
And
You want
I'll,
my info, Richard, or you're just gonna get it from Susan? You want my info, or you're gonna get it from
So
her?
I'll just send it to
You
you.
have all their stuff.
I just have the phone number.
You got my stuff?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys.
thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
By far the quietest selectmen meeting I've ever seen. Last time they had boxing gloves at the door.
Can't do that anymore because of COVID.
I wish them a lot of success, especially at that location.
New business, committee liaison reports.
I got a liaison report.
Okay, can you hear Kevin? Yep,
Yep.
go ahead.
I talked to the owner of Block 5 Technologies, and as we suspected, the town of Kingston is lacking in a lot of technology. The gentleman did do a quick assessment because he was invited by the fire department, so he has some information. What he is offering to us is he can come in and do a full assessment, okay, at a cost of $1,500. Now the thing with the $1,500 is, whatever he does for an assessment, it would be in an RFP format so that we can go out and get bids. And if he was awarded the contract, he would credit us the $1,500. But he's saying roughly in the long term, we're looking at like $90,000. And where he's going with it is it could be done in stages. The fire department does not need their own server. The town hall should have a mainframe server that services the fire department. He said that the police department absolutely should be on their own server. And then he could go and get us a .gov email account. And then he's recommending everyone in town, whether it be Susan, Cindy, Tammy, or the Board of Selectmen, they have a Microsoft 360 account that they can access from home or wherever they go. But that's what he's recommended. But for a cost of $1,500, you can do a comprehensive survey that would be an RFP format, and you would credit us if you got the award. And they're a local company, they're in Londonderry.
Okay.
I think that's a great way to go. Whether we go with him or not, it still gives us a blueprint of the next 3 years, let's say.
Yeah, I think if you put it out for proposal, everybody else will be very quick to sharpshoot anything you got wrong too.
That's
So,
exactly correct.
Well, my first question is why we don't have to bid this. Put it out to bid. I mean, because there's other companies that I'm sure would be willing to mark Furlong.
I think it should,
Well, they're gonna go, the bid would go out anyways, whether it be other people in town or not.
I think it should go to bid.
So
you're
First
saying
thing is
initial
a
assessment?
proposal.
the first part telling us what to do would be done, and then what they come up with would go out to bid?
Right, the whole
Okay.
proposal will go out to bid.
I mean, we had 4 hacks last week alone.
Yeah.
I think it was 4.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're in deep trouble. There's no question about it.
And if anyone didn't notice, I don't know if you did, I got an email from Cindy that was strictly, was a virus.
Oh, yeah, we did, we got it.
Yeah, we got a couple.
We had several of them last week, Kevin.
I made sure she sent it to you.
We opened it, it was surprising, but anyway, no, so, and the other thing is, I will say, on the hands of Block 5, we use them at the county, and we go to competitive bid, and they have always taken care of us and make great price. And what he's gonna do is give us something that we can go up to bid for.
Yeah, see, I think that's very enticing. So we don't have to recreate the wheel, and then people will add to that, you know, accordingly.
Yeah, it's like the paving bid. People will say, I'm putting this in here because, and I think it gets the ball rolling. We need to
Yep.
get this done
Yep.
now.
So do you need a motion to,
I would entertain one.
okay, I move that, you want to make the motion, Kevin, or do you want me
You
to?
can not second it.
Okay, I move that we go with the company that Kevin just said.
Block 5.
Block 5, is that what it is? Like that. For a proposal on our infrastructure.
Second.
I'll second that. Yeah.
Too late.
Rich got it first, so.
Okay, Richard, that's fine, no concern.
Yeah, as long as we get it moving.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Further discussion.
The only thing I would ask is, should it be successful, who do you want to be the point person for this? Should it be Briggs? Should it be the chief? Should it be the board of selectmen? Do you want Cindy? Do you want Susan?
I think Dawn has typically handled most of our technology. You've been our point of contact for that.
I can, sure, if you want me to. It's up to you guys, it's up to you. Where we want it.
Good 1960s John Deere technology myself, that's about the limit for me. So,
It's all right, we'll help it along.
But-
Yes, Don Briggs.
Don Briggs?
Okay.
Are you ready for a vote?
Yep,
Alessio?
yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
yes.
St. James?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
All in favor?
All right, I will contact Block 5 and put them in touch with Don Briggs.
Okay?
Excellent.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
Okay.
Other committee liaison reports.
History Book met again last week and the week before, and they did get some response out of our thing that Susan put online asking for donations. They're still in need of donations. If we can keep the price of the book down, that would be great. It's moving along at a steady rate. Planning board didn't meet since we were here last, or met the next night, so I haven't had anything on that. And none of my other groups have met. I do have one issue with conservation. I mean, not conservation, but with Paul. The Como Field playground, the equipment is basically worn out. And they're looking at the fact of possibly replacing it. And they want to know whether that should go in as a warrant article or in the budget or something else. So it's something to think about. The first initial bid was $53,000, just to give you an idea of what playground equipment
I
costs.
can tell you right now, I'm gonna say warrant article.
Yeah, I would say warrant.
Yes.
Okay. My question on that too is, shouldn't that be in the capital improvement plan? Because it's
Yes.
depreciable equipment, that's over the cost. And
Yep.
okay, that's all I got.
So yeah, I would have Paul get a hold of Glenn Kaufman and
Yeah, I can do that.
Don?
Just that other things I was gonna be working on with the Conservation Commission. I have 4 other things, but they're non-public.
Okay.
HDC met last week, looking to replace a shed on one of the houses on Main Street. Not concluded yet. They're gonna go back and do a little more homework and come back to us. Tammy had a letter that's included here on request for information on get out the vote type of proposal. We do need to see counsel on it. Most requests, from my experience under the right to know law, we don't have to create documents that don't exist. And a lot of the questions that were included in that request are things that we don't have data on in a small community like ours. And I'd be happy to work with Tammy to formulate a response to them of the information that we do have, but we may want the opportunity to speak with council so that we don't overstep our responsibilities as a voting community. But a lot of the details, we don't have that information, and we're not required, even by the right to know law, to create documents that don't exist. And that's the one point that's been very clear, but it might be appropriate for her to talk with council to make sure that we meet the requirements of the law without unduly burdening ourselves, because we're still looking for individuals to come work the polls. That's been a problem. A lot of the people I know are older and therefore may not be as willing to participate as an election worker. We are trying to break it up into 2 6-hour segments so someone doesn't have to work all day. Of course, we'll have all the appropriate PPE to protect them as best we can, but we do need workers. And the primary is a good time to start because it'll be a lower volume and then move on to the big one. I think there's some concerns with the post office and mailing ballots. I mean, I'm not even sure what's going on there. I'm not really too worried about New Hampshire, but obviously they contacted our state as well. Post office did and said, you need to do it in a week. Do we need a week to mail ballots? Just tell them to come in, drop them off. We should have a box out back, but again, that Tammy and Ellen, I know have been working on it anyway.
All right, so you're gonna get a hold of Sumner to review that?
If you give me the go ahead, then when Tammy gets back from vacation next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to get our town caught in a trap. Some of these people are looking for exactly that, for someone to say the wrong thing, or
Correct.
so I think it is very smart to have it reviewed by council.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail in there that we do not have as part of our.
Right, and we don't have to create things that don't exist.
And we don't have to create documents that don't exist either, so.
Okay.
Okay, I will follow up on that, thank you.
Okay. I met with Tori today regarding the permitting process for the inspectors. That's kind of how I'm working it now, is just going in by individual who's involved in the process to just get what needs to change put in process. And so her and I had a really good meeting, got some really good items generated. So that's pushing forward, and then we're gonna try and get Dennis to this Thursday's meeting, just because he's been out of the loop for a little bit, so it's good to have him there, just so everybody's in the loop what's going on for site evaluations by his outfit, so that's what I've got going on with that. Next up is public comment number 2. And I'm assuming since you gentlemen are here and you're the only public and you're not on the agenda, that's why you wanted to talk to us?
He may want to come out illegal.
Say something.
Do you have a legal issue, Red, that you want to discuss with us?
No, I had a letter stating we wanted to see us.
Oh, for the tree clearing?
I don't know who are.
For what?
The tree clearing?
For where?
Tormail.
Well, you know, said you came in. But that's not what the letter said.
What did it say?
It said to propose a plan, replanning.
We don't have a plan, we plan.
Oh.
Do you have a copy? Anybody get a copy?
You
of that?
cut in well into your buffer, which you're not allowed to do.
What's that?
You have a 200-foot buffer. You probably need to come to a microphone.
We have a 500-foot buffer right now.
No, you have a 500-foot buffer on commercial activity.
We have a 500-foot buffer.
You have a 200-foot buffer on your tree line between the residential property, which you cut well into.
Yeah, we're 175 feet away from.
I will beg to differ. I mean, in some places,
Some places we're 175 feet, then it goes over 500 feet.
some places you're 136, is that what it was? 139? Some places you're right up to the stone wall that I was told was the property line. You're right up to it.
Yeah, so it's my property line.
Huh?
It's my property line.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be 200 feet away from that.
My own property line?
Yeah.
So basically, there's supposed to be a vegetative buffer against the residential area there,
Yeah.
200 feet. So that 200 feet starts at your property line and goes in from there, where your property butts up to the residential area. And basically what the letter's looking to find out is in the areas where it's,
There's only one area we're close.
okay,
The rest of it, we're over 500 feet. The one right on the corner.
Where the stone wall is.
Yeah.
That,
I mean, I already put an earth burn there. I burned, a high burn to stop any, whatever. We're gonna plant, in the fall of the year, we'll plant some trees.
Well, so you had a plan, we said you have to give us a plan of what you plan to do.
Basically, the residents have concern because, as you can imagine, if someone started, all the trees behind your house started disappearing and there were supposed to be 200 feet of them, and with the operation that you have going on there.
Yeah, but we're not that close to the houses.
But you're within your 200-foot buffer, which you're not allowed to do.
So what we need to see, we're not directing you how you need to do it, we just need to see what your plan is to restore that 200-foot buffer.
Well, all we're doing is cutting a little road around the backside of our pond, so we can have access to the pond. That's all we're doing.
And that's where it's within 139 feet of the property line.
Understandably, but we're making a little road just so we can, you know, fix the backside of our pond. What are we gonna try? We can't climb over the trees.
I guess there's not supposed to be any activity within 200 feet, so why do you need to get to it?
We have to, well, clean the backside of the pond. That's the only thing we want to do.
So basically so does this road need to stay in there in perpetuity, or is it just you're gonna go do your thing and then pull out?
That's all we're gonna do, just clean, we gotta clean the back, you know, the backside of that pond.
Okay, and then take the road out, or?
Right now, we stopped everything, we're not gonna do anything just to appease everybody. I mean, we went in there to cut a few trees. I guess we made a mess.
I guess I don't know why you have to go back to clean up the pond, and if you don't go back there, you don't have to clean it, and you would have left the trees alone.
I think it's the quarry you're talking about.
Yeah, with the wash, we have a big pond for the
You'd
wash.
have to go down and take a look. So he's got the back part of the quarry, he's got a pond.
There's a pond, we
No,
get our fresh water.
that's not the same pond you're talking about, is it? That's not the pond, that's two different ponds, right? The one you use for the quarries up front, right?
No, that's the backside of it.
It's the back side of the quarry.
It's the backside of our pond. We have a pond up front, but that's the backside of it, where we are.
So what the letter requested was a plan to restore that buffer.
So as soon as we clean the backside of the pond, we'll plant trees, I don't care.
Okay, so
I mean, we're not gonna do anything, no digging, no nothing. I mean, we dug in there years ago, back in 1968, we dug in there and put Jericho Road in. All the gravel came right out of there for Jericho Road. And I don't understand how they can put houses so close to industrial land, them having a buffer.
I couldn't tell you that. I wasn't there.
You know.
But, I mean, we're at the situation where there's residents who are concerned because the buffer's been infringed upon. And so we just need to know what your plan is to restore it.
That's what we're gonna do. Once we clean the backside up on this fall, we'll put in seedlings in there.
Okay. Do you want to go out and have a site visit when that's taking place, or?
That's fine.
Does that work for you?
I mean, even on its own, it'll grow right back anyhow. It'll grow right back by itself.
Some year.
Well, actually, most of the forest guys will say that will grow back quicker than planting trees.
Is that right?
It will. Out front of Door Road where the fire range is, back 20 years ago, I planted 1,000 trees. All them pine trees have gone by the side of the road going to the shooting range. Look at how they've grown. I put 1,000 seedlings in there. That was all sand we excavated years ago.
So, yeah, I mean, we just need a plan. Because obviously the people who live right there want to know it's going to be fixed.
It will be. I mean, you know, they don't... I can have the engineer make out a plan.
Okay. It doesn't have to be super involved, it just, if you can get,
Something in writing.
something in writing that we can show the residents to say, this is the plan to restore it, and,
Full plan,
okay, that would be even better.
just to keep everybody happy.
That's how.
It's not an easy job, you know.
It's not. It's not. If it isn't one end of the property, it's the other.
Oh, that's the truth.
But that's all we needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was easy.
Not bad, huh?
Do we keep it easy? We keep everybody happy? That we all. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Okay, next.
All right. We have Trails Volunteers appointments. There, I'll give that back before it dies in the pile here. I'll start these around. We have received a second letter of complaint regarding Saddle Up Saloon and the outdoor noise. Our last meeting with Attorney Cronin, I did request that he look into that. Susan, do you mind just shooting him a follow-up email to see what he found?
Okay.
Also received a letter from Mr. Villela of Hawks Ridge. He's requesting to complete the 2 homes that have been incomplete for the past 2 years due to pending litigation. That has been, the litigation itself has been resolved. The result of that litigation was that an amended site plan needed to be approved by the planning board. So really the select board can't do anything with regards to this. It needs to go to the planning board for an amended site plan, or it needs to adhere to the site plan that was originally approved. Beyond that, this board can't really do anything with it. Do you want to let him know that, or do you?
Would you like me to contact you or?
Did he email this to you, or was it a letter?
He dropped it off.
Okay.
Something like that.
I think a phone call to say you need to, or do we need to put it in writing? Should we put it in writing that we received your letter, but...
Yeah, that's what it is. We just want to make it a matter of record that we received
his request, but it was not something, it's not within the purview of the Board of Selectmen.
If you want to draw it up, I can sign it. And I'll put my contact information if he has further questions on it.
So do you remember what the site plan, the amended?
Yes. Yes.
But we don't have anything to do with the site plan.
But do you remember what the site plan said? Do you remember what the amended site plan said?
There was no amended site plan. They needed to amend the site plan because they moved those buildings from where they were on the original site plan. They also changed a lot of the drainage. So they came to the planning board numerous times to amend the site plan, and a compromise could not be achieved. It went to litigation, the town prevailed, so we're right back where we started. It either needs to adhere to the original site plan or have an amended site plan.
So I know they're, as I said earlier, they're looking to do the ditching and stuff there. So I saw they've sprayed, painted everything up there.
And they may be trying to, if they're gonna, as far as the drainage goes, the last I had heard on it was their intent to follow the original site plan for that drainage.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be going in there with the equipment. My understanding is he's supposed to be going in there with the equipment to start it today or tomorrow. Tomorrow. He's gonna start that ditching and what have you. I think when
His permits have probably expired. He's gonna start from scratch. Is that true? I don't know that. I'm asking.
I don't think the permit would have expired, but Dennis needs to be notified so that he can come out and witness certain things in that. So.
You're gonna have a busy night tomorrow night.
We're gonna have a very busy night tomorrow night.
So are you gonna bring that up tomorrow night to see what he needs to do?
Yeah, Glenn's already talked to me about it, so.
Okay.
So, and those 2 houses that are in question that he wants to complete, where do they stand?
they either need to do an amended site plan or they need to tear one down because it's not where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, where it's sitting is pretty much right on top of where one of the drainage lines runs under the.
The last three houses were boom, boom, boom. This house was where it wasn't even shown on the plan. So they were supposed to get rid of it. Instead, they got rid of this one to keep this one. They got rid of the wrong one.
It's gotta go to the planning board, there's not any ifs, ands, or buts about it.
There's really nothing we can do.
That's all planning board issue and them getting their act together,
Direct him to contact Mr. Glenn Greenwood or Glenn Copeland.
which they have done.
Oh, well, then, we can't help him.
Speaking of Mr. Koppelman, he had sent us a letter regarding 109 Exeter Road and a permit. I spoke to each board member individually, and we did get that paperwork from the applicant stating that they understood the regulations. So I will speak to Mr. Koppelman tomorrow, just letting him know where we're at on that and how we reached that decision. And again, I think it's following the standard that we have held other applicants to. Should it become a problem, there's still
Ample opportunity.
ample opportunities for compliance, and so I'll speak to him regarding that.
Okay.
We had a response on a letter we sent regarding on Half Moon Lane, Half Moon and Iris.
Yeah,
He was gonna come in tonight, but wasn't able to, so he wanted to come in and speak to us about it.
He'll be in on the 31st.
So he's gonna be on the agenda for the 31st, so we can speak to him on that. I guess for that one, can we just have there was a septic plan or something like that that was floating around that showed pretty clearly delineated lines on where the paper or the street itself was. Covered the right to know request. And we have some planning board comment sheets, should anyone wish to make any on that. And I believe that is everything except for the minutes.
I move that we adopt the minutes from the public and non-public section as printed.
Second.
Okay, motion is second. Roll call vote, please.
Alessio?
Yes.
Briggs?
Yes.
Coombs?
Yes.
St. James?
Yes, I abstain, actually.
Abstain. Wilson?
Yes.
4 in favor. Pass.
Okay. We have some non-public items to discuss. Entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Before that, can I add one thing?
Sure.
Please.
What's the board's pleasure? Either the next meeting or the meeting after that, I could have Steve Lieber come in from Affinity Lighting. Unitil has got back to him. There's a small snafu. Well, I won't call it small. There's a snafu with the proposal. As we knew, they had to put in, Unitil had to put in 33 arms at a cost of like $700 each arm to hold the LED lights. And originally, Unitil included that in the rebate for going to LED. They have since rescinded that. So Steve's going to come in to explain it, but he just got the answer this week. But yeah, there's a cost involved now for those arms that originally Unitil was going to pick up.
And
course there is.
what was the cost?
What's it cost, Kevin?
700 is like 22,000.
How much?
He said
22,000 is $700 each, and it's 33 arms. Because you can't put there's a bunch of lights that are yard lights, they're just on the pole, and the LED, you can't do that, you have to have the arms.
We'll give him $1 a month until it's paid off.
Did we have that in writing, that they were going to give us those, or?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, originally we agreed upon it wasn't going to be a cost to the town, right?
Right.
Correct. What just want to give you a heads up. It's a question of when the board wants to have Affinity back in, the next meeting or the meeting after that.
Let's get it resolved.
Yeah, just assume get that over.
31st.
Okay.
Are you
And
gonna?
one more thing, I didn't know whether you wanted to bring this up, Kevin, was
Hang on, let's finish.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was done.
Are you good on that, Kevin, for the 31st?
I'm good. Yep.
All right, so you'll contact him?
I'll contact them and they'll come in 31st.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the other thing really was you, Kevin, we talked a little bit last time about parameters for the budget committee. And they're gonna be meeting starting August 26th.
Yep, to get their calendar, and then we're gonna, from there, I was gonna see what the board wants to do as far as when you wanna meet with everyone.
Right. To meet with department heads and set some parameters, right, Kevin?
I would say we should probably,
Just to meet with department heads and set parameters for next year's budgeting.
Correct, yep.
I would say we probably want to meet with them so at least we know what they're going to propose prior to going to.
Or what we're gonna say, we should be looking at maybe no more than a 2% increase.
Well, that's what we had said was, that Phil agreed with me, is that we ought to bring in a couple every meeting.
Right.
Get this, so we don't,
Uh,
or do
that's
a day,
fine.
or do a daytime thing.
I'd say do a daytime, let's bring them all in.
Whatever you gentlemen want, I mean,
Definitely don't want a daytime thing. I mean,
All right. It's going to take some time to go through each budget, right?
Well, I don't know that we need to go through the budgets, we need to set some parameters.
some parameters with the department heads as to what they propose. I think it's a little bit too, they don't have their budgets done yet, but I think we as a board should say, given current circumstances, your budget should be no more than 2%, and if there's some specific items, whether it be capital improvements, or you maybe need warrant articles, let's talk about it, but I don't think we should be going up more than 2%.
So
That's
maybe,
my personal.
and I agree, so maybe we send that out, whatever our request is. And if they have anything that they want to change from that they should get on the agenda.
But we should have a dialogue, in my opinion, with the department heads before they go before the budget committee. I think-
why don't we do this?
Okay.
Let's get the schedule for the budget committee.
Yep.
And then backwards plan from there. And I say we start with whoever has the smallest budget and work our way up to highway.
All right, I'll tell you right now, ZBA is flatlining it.
Okay, perfect. But I think if we just start from the smallest one and work our way up, just try and get one or two per meeting based on what the budget season is. Because I think it's premature to ask them at this point when they haven't even done their budget.
They haven't, that's true,
Right.
but if we give them some parameters, they know what to work with.
Yeah, and we'll just give them a heads up that that's coming down the line.
All right.
We just want to have a conversation with each department head or each department and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was waiting for was the schedule, then it's a question of, do we want to meet with each department individually, do we want to do a work session? You know, and that was my next question, but I was waiting to see what they're gonna have for schedule.
Chuck Hart did send me a schedule in an email today. I don't know if it's final or if he's bringing it to their meeting.
I think it's to be approved anyways.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
And again, the staff has been working on the backup plans. You're almost done, now it's a matter of visiting each other's workspaces.
Right, we're meeting again on, I think next Tuesday, is it 24th?
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's good.
we're meeting
Thank
at
you
4 o'clock.
for doing
Yeah.
that. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, it's a good
Do you
idea.
feel it was valuable?
Very, yeah, definitely. To just get familiar with each other's, where things are, what we're doing, who's our backup. I think it's
That's good.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, that will conclude the televised portion of this evening's meeting.